What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I know you guys saw the last video. I'm heading down to do some testing and maintenance on the tank right now. So let's head over to see the tank, and then let's start getting some maintenance and water testing done. And here is the tank, guys. Looking pretty good. Not looking the best that it has been over the last couple of weeks. But things are doing pretty decent. Can't really complain too much. The Green Monty's been growing so rapidly, and the Euphilia have. Now the lights have only been on for a couple of hours, so things are still kind of on the extending period of their polyps and stuff like that. But also, these lights are on a natural setting. So what happens is it starts from like the bottom, and it peaks at around 2 o'clock, and then it comes back down. So every coral gets their ideal lighting period at some point during the day, and I really like that. So I moved all my new coral. My acans are down here under this rock. I have some chalices recovering over here. The branch in Duncan is a total loss. I'm gonna be pulling that out in the next couple days once it's finally gone. The Panape is actually hanging in there. It's right back there behind the mint bird's nest. And this is the tank. Let's do a quick frag close-up. The clam keeps getting moved around, especially by this hermit crab. Look, my Favia got knocked off. Unfortunately, I think this hermit crab is just creating too much havoc up here. I don't know if I should move him to the sump. I think that might be the way to go here. He might be kicking up some detritus and stuff, but I'm gonna use that opportunity to get it clean. But I can't keep him in here any longer. He's just creating too much chaos and upsetting my clam, knocking over my stuff. He's always, bumping into things. And a really cool guy, but he's going in the sump until I get a more appropriate tank for him. The rose bubble tip anemone, hanging in there, still not doing the best. However, the speckled rose bubble tip anemone in the back, right over here, is actually doing pretty well. No real complaints over there. Euphilia are doing well. As you can see, my fish are hungry. I haven't fed them. I'm gonna go ahead, wash my hands. Actually, I found my lone, I believe it's either a Bam Bam or a single orange oxide, but I found it floating around the tank, threw it on this rock, and it seems to be doing okay. So I think next step, I'm gonna wash my hands, pull this hermit crab out, put him in the sump, and then I am going to reattach that Favia, as well as pull this filter floss out. I like to go through it for copepods, amphipods. Pull this filter floss because I have new ones, and then do a whole bunch of water testing to see where we're at with everything. If you don't know, I use a bunch of Hanner checkers as well as one sulfate test kit, and I test for calcium, I test alkalinity, I test phosphates, I test pH, and nitrates. So that's currently what I test for. And if you want to know what I feed, here are a bunch of them, from Phytoplex, Marine Snow, pellets, a plethora of flake foods, the usual reef roids, Aquaforest food, some reef frenzy foods. as well as I also feed some frozen reef frenzy and frozen mysis. The tank is currently dosing calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, and vodka. Well, actually Everclear. And that is because I had a nitrate and phosphate issue. I'm also running a phosban reactor with some GFOs from me, or ME. I'm not really sure how they pronounce their company, but and that's what it is right now. Fish are very happy. No real complaints. Mr. Hermit Crab, you gotta go. So that's it for inside the tank, guys. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do a top-down view so you guys can see how everything looks. Now it's time to do some maintenance on the sump. We're going to start with the poly filter, and we're gonna move to the filter sock in the back. So let me get my replacement filter sock and polyester filter, and we can start getting this done. Here, I got my replacement filter sock and polyester filter. Now, if you guys don't remember, I like to pull this out and then I go through it for copepods and amphipods, and I put it in this bowl, and then I take it and I add it to the main refugium back here. I don't really stock this tank with anything. I'll show you guys, but I have another amphipod like growing system back here. It's like a mini refugium that, you know, predators can't get to, and they just thrive in there. So I'm gonna go ahead, remove the floss, remove the sock, clean out some of this algae, and then I am going to probably go back into this thing back here and see how life's looking. Maybe I'll bring it to the front so you guys can check it out. Alright, let's try and get to this filter sock. Now this kind of was an afterthought, so it's not in the best placement, so I'm going to try and get to it, but it's not going to be the smoothest setup. So. And it's out. Now as you can see here, I got a decent amount of copepods and amphipods. Well, I believe these are all probably amphipods, being what size they are. Now I normally add it to my sump down there, my refugium, but let's see if we can get some decent feeding action from the wrasses. Alright, let's feed the wrasses. See that? They're all stuck to the container. There they go. Here comes the chorus wrasse. He's coming back around. As soon as he spots him, he's gonna go after him. As you can see, there's one right here. There's an amphipod. Pretty nice size one too. Let's see if the wrasse will spot him. And there it is. And he's a goner. Now I've noticed the wrasse seems to hit them on the rocks, maybe to break them up a little bit. And there goes the long-nosed hawk. He has one in his mouth right now. A very, very voracious predator, the long-nosed hawk. Alright guys, let's get this wrapped up. Alright, the tank is now pretty clean. As you can see, the filter floss is new. New filter sock. Cleaned out this skimmer cup. I'm gonna be putting a catch can, and I think I'm going to try and do one of those swabby things that Fish of Hex does, because now that I'm feeding the tank quite a lot, you know, it's filling up a lot. Alright, let's feed the clam, the anemones a little bit, and I will be back later to feed everything some frozen food. Let's start with some marine snow and fiber. Alright guys, it's time to feed the fish. So I usually tend to start off with some flake food, and right now I'm going to just feed some cobalt CA mysis. It's like a mysis based flake food, and in the future to come I'm going to be mixing up multiple different flake foods together and just do them all at once. But for now, just this. Now I like to submerge my flake food because it's just easier. The fish get it right away. They don't have to struggle at the surface to try and get it, pull the food down, or mess with the food in general. They can just take it right out of the water column. I'm also gonna feed the sump because I have a few fish down there. Now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and feed some frozen food, which is right here. It's been temperature acclimating. I just find bringing it up to temperature is easier on feeding it to the coral. Not so much the fish, but the coral definitely like it better when it's at a moderate temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to feed the fish, and again, this is Reef Frenzy, as well as I apologize. This is I believe it's like LRS Reef Frenzy or something like that, and it's also frozen mysis. So let's feed the fish first, then we'll feed the coral, the acans, the Duncans, Favias, and some of the zoas. Let's shut off the flow. Now this is a good lesson. If you're gonna feed your coral, feed your fish first so that they're not picking at the food from the coral. What's going on, guys? So I just got done doing all my water tests. It's actually really late. It's around 12 o'clock at night or 12 in the morning. I kind of just got lazy and got to it a little bit late, but I had to do it for you guys. So here's the tank under the Gen 2 Radion Reef Creation. It's looking pretty good. As you can see, here is that elusive other anemone back there. It was sold to me as a speckled rose bubble tip anemone, but I think it's more of a green variant, just like a multicolored green. As you can see right here is a rose bubble tip anemone, and it's actually doing a lot better now. So the numbers are, my calcium is sitting at 497 parts per million. I actually just turned it down a couple milliliters on my dosing pump. My alkalinity is at 9.1. My phosphate, they are at 0. My phosphate's at 0, 0.00. My nitrates are a little elevated. They're around 25 parts per million, but I just turned up my dosing pump a little bit. If you don't know, again, I'm dosing Everclear, and that should mitigate that problem. And my temperature is at 76 degrees currently. My salinity is a little low at 0.024, and my pH is at 7.6. So that's currently where the tank sits as of right now. I am looking into maybe bringing up my pH, but things are doing decent and I really don't want to mess with things too much. So I might not mess with it at all, but I am going to look into some, a few possible options for bringing up pH. I already tried the turning up my calcium as well as my alkalinity, and yeah, I'm pretty much maxed out in my opinion on those two, so I'm not gonna be touching those anymore. And yeah, so I don't know, we'll see if we can bring my pH up. I don't really see the point in trying the bubbler because essentially that's what the skimmer is doing in my opinion. But I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll give it a shot and see if anything happens. But this all this testing was done at night, so everything was pretty stable. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys again for coming by and checking out this video, and thanks for stopping by to check out the update. You guys have a good one.